How's it going, my lovely Death Disciples? I am the Shattered Reaper, and today we are going to be showing off a little bit more League of Legends gameplay, where in this game I am playing as Miss Fortune, and I'm also going to be showing off how I owned things as her. I did have a video on my last channel of her, but this one definitely went way better. So in this matchup, we've got ourselves a Morgana who's going to be supporting me. We've got a Gragas who's going to be our jungler. Our Echo is going to be mid. And here we start off a nice little invasion against Yasuo, and he got really unlucky to be my first ever victim here. But here comes Safrina. I still don't necessarily have her name right. Safrina, I think, the celeb in her KDA skin, which, by the way, I do love because, like, oh my god, it's amazing. We get involved in this conflict anyway, and I have my 3, as you can tell. It is something that helps me with a little bit of lane domination and being able to freak out and slow down my enemies to make sure that they are within my sights and ready for taking. Safrina is the last to throw something out, but it misses, and now we are just, after that little bit of a skirmish, we're going to be focusing on getting the red buff for Gragas, our favorite big fat drunkard, or whatever, and we're just gonna knock him down a few pegs. And I've actually gotten myself a new limit of being around 300 to 200 instead of just 500s, I think, was the last time I did it. He uses his smite, and then we just kind of go to bottom lane. I go 300 to high 200s now, because it's where I have an opportunity for last hits. I was not able to get any for the melee, so 300s from now on, like low 300s, will be what I do instead of high 200s. We're up against Gragas and Safrina in the bottom lane, and Gragas is definitely going to be the guy that does the damage, obviously, but Safrina is going to be giving me the most problems as a support by slowing me down. Here you can see I'm taking advantage of the passive that she has, because the passive that she has allows her to take, let me see if I can find it anywhere. It should be right here. Love Tap. Miss Fortune's attacks deal an additional 35 physical damage when she attacks a new target. So it's very important to have, especially for last hits, because it deals a nice bit of extra damage. So if you're ever, like, overestimating how much damage you can do, the Love Tap is especially helpful with that, because it does help with getting that extra damage. Although, I have misused it improperly at times, but it does work, so that's why, so it's definitely something you want to keep in mind for whenever you try to use the Love Tap, and it's just a nice additional thing to keep in mind to help with the last hits. As you also may have noticed, I also have my 1 available, and it's definitely extremely helpful, especially if you want to be able to get some hits on heroes, especially if there's another hero lined up, like, right behind where you're aiming for that hero, because it definitely is very good on champions. It actually prioritizes on champions. So Miss Fortune fires a bouncing shot dealing 90 attack or ability power physical damage to an enemy and to another one behind them. The second shot can critically strike. It always critically strikes if the first shot kills its target, so definitely something to keep in mind. It may not say it though, but I have noticed that it normally prioritizes champions, so I may be wrong on that, but that's just from my personal experience from what I have seen thus far. But definitely a good thing to keep in mind. So far, as you can see, I'm prioritizing the last hits and also just the poking of enemy champions. Some attempts were made, but as you could also see here, Udyr, or I think that's Udyr, tries to sneak attack us, but Morgana freezes him. I use my flash to kind of get out of any traps that there might have been, and I'm also working on my dodging from Safrina's attacks, or abilities. It's definitely something you want to do without a doubt. Dodging is important, but you especially want to dodge the enemies that can use a lot of, that can definitely work out a lot of, crowd control is the word I was looking for. Sorry, I couldn't think of it at the moment. But it is very important because the crowd control is one of the best ways to set up for a kill, so you definitely want to avoid the crowd control as much as you possibly can. So always be aware of just who is readying up their abilities and always having a little bit of awareness. I did not have a lot of awareness there. As you could tell, though, it had a very important crowd control effect on me where I was rooted by Safrina's double ability, whatever it's called. But yeah, it's very important to keep an eye on what's going on around you so that you don't end up being a victim of a kill setup. Definitely important. Like here, you can also notice Morgana is able to get a kill here by setting up for a very weak and low health Dragus, and was able to help out with getting that last hit for Morgana, especially with either it was her basic attack or it was her W that killed him. Either way, he was kind of doomed for the beginning, and Morgana is going to benefit from that sweet, sweet death and slow, painful demise of Dragus. Now, I probably could have used that love tap on that first minion, but unfortunately I did not think that. But the love tap, as you could tell, is very helpful when switching between minions and being able to weaken them. I thought I was going to get Sabrina, but I didn't. But as you could tell, I am dealing some very deadly damage on her. Or, like, not deadly, but very powerful pokes on her. But I have definitely been spending a lot of time here in the bottom, as you could tell by my mana bar, and I am definitely benefited from it. As you can see, I've leveled up my double up a lot because it is one of the most damaging abilities. I like to get the Make It Rain first, though. Sabrina, back to this, Sabrina did notice I was in the bushes because, as suspected, she did have a little bit of a ward there, so good idea on her for that one. But, yeah. Morgana comes in from the river, and it's here where I go in for the assist to try and help her out in the situation. You tried to use the double tap, but Sabrina gets out of the way too quickly for me, so good on her. But as I was saying, Making It Rain is a nice ability for me to get first because it helps with lane domination as well as just slowing down my target. So it's very nice and useful to have. And the W, which is the strut, obviously not only is it sexy to do, but it's also something that helps with movement speed when you're out of combat passively, but actively it can not only help with the full movement speed bonus, but also add some attack speed. Morgana is going in for the attack, and I probably could have gone in earlier for this, but unfortunately it did not work, and I definitely regret not going in earlier. So sorry, Morgana. Was also a bit of a problem for later on. Morgana is helping Gragas with the Mountain Drake, and I noticed that it is available, but I noticed it too late. But at the very least, I was able to go ahead and just finally back so that I can go ahead and just buy some new stuff. Because after all, with all the gold that I got, I need to buy some new equipment. So what I get is not only do I have the Cull to start off, it's my new favorite starter item for ADCs, but I also fully get the Noon Quiver, which, as I have talked about before in my previous videos, very important for not only getting more attack speed and some attack damage, but also very important for last hit. So it helps with getting even more damage on the minions along with the love tap. So very important to have. And I also have myself a refillable potion so that I have a way of being able to heal myself, as well as just, you know, being able to not have to spend so much on potions continuously. And here the tower is just trying to be greedy and take all the minions for itself. For reasons not entirely sure what, but Sabrina is definitely harassing my Morgana. Morgana fighting back a little bit. As you could tell, Morgana is winning that situation because Morgana is definitely more of the damage dealer, if we're being real here. She's definitely a very good support, but she is a really good support in, like, being able to deal lots of damage as well, just to make the enemies worry. Sabrina is able to get some crowd control off of Morgana, but I get the last hit on Sabrina, so sorry, Sabrina. But your idle days are just kind of numbered when you were dealing with me. At least in Iron. And Morgana chases off Dragus, and then we kind of get the opportunity to take on Tower because Dragus is too low health to be able to do anything about us. I kind of get tempted to go after him, but then I also have to deal with the minion wave, and I just use my double tap to hold off the wave a little bit. And I decide to just head on back because there's no point in me staying in a risky location. But I do take the opportunity to just go ahead and hit off some minions and get some farming from it. So very nice to have. I wasn't able to get that last minion, but what I do get in return is I do get to have a nice opportunity to... I had the opportunity to get the tower, but unfortunately Sabrina was, unfortunately, I decided to make it rain for Sabrina, and, well, as you know, getting under turret or tower with while damaging enemy heroes, not a good idea, because then the turret prioritizes you. Not a very good thing to have. But here I am, in fact, alone against Dragus and Sabrina, so definitely a good idea to be defensive when you are the only one in your lane. It's best not to get greedy or overconfident, but I do know that Sabrina is in the bushes, so I try to avoid those, and I completely forgot that I decided to turn on sound from my phone, because sometimes I just have those moments where I think that I'm getting a call from someone, but then I don't. It's just some weird noise in my head that's making me think I'm that, because it makes me think it's vibrating or whatever. But anyway, so we're not going to get any more disturbances from that. But I do have my ult available along with another level for my double tap, so it is going to be very useful later on. Our top is able to get a kill against Ulrok. I don't know his name. I think that's the best I know. But Sabrina gets a nice ult off on me, but I get a nice ult that damages them, but it does kill I do get killed. So unfortunately, that was the wrong timing for my ult. So it was useful for the enemy in a sense. But yeah. Here we are just watching Gragas get beaten up a little bit, but Ilio comes in to save the day and drive off the enemy forces in the mid lane. I go back to my lane, however, and I use my strat to make me a little bit faster. So yeah, it's always nice to have. Let's take a look at what I have equipped now. So I now have the pickaxe and also the cloak of agility, so I have more of a critical strike chance, and also just a little bit more attack damage in general. So very nice things to have. I decided to go to the mid lane because there is a team fight going on, basically, where the team is facing off against the enemy. So I decide that it is my time to shine, but then I see that the enemy isn't, and I see that Yasuo is attacking my Morgana. He blocks my my double up with his windshield thingy. I don't know what its official name is. But I kind of decided to stay in and compete with Yasuo a little bit. Use my double up on him to succeed, and he does a lot of damage on me. I use my exhaust on him. Use my Make It Rain, but he dodges with his dash. Try to double up on him, but he dodges that as well. And things aren't necessarily looking too good for me, as he has gotten a lot of damage on me. So I decided to just leave this to Echo since he is back in lane, and I feel like he could probably handle it better than I have so far. I also use one of my potions as well, and I do not necessarily notice what's going on there, but I do notice a bunch of enemies around, so I make it rain for those two over there, and I see a fine opportunity for a nice last hit on Udyr. And it most certainly went well. Gragas got killed, and Dragus is definitely getting an advantage on me, so I run away to my Morgana, to which things get rather interesting, and Dragus is down for the count. Is it Dragus or Dreyfus? But it was a fine play by the both of us, and I decided to take a moment to just say nice works, get a little positive vibes out, and yeah. We basically just kind of made it out barely, but you know what? In the end, it worked. It worked out completely for us. So, that went well for us. Even, I just said that. Yeah, the enemy, even though it doesn't say for some reason, I guess the dragon is still alive because there was a team fight going on and it distracted them. But they were not able to get the dragon, so mission succeeded. The turret plating falls, so we do not get some extra gold for taking down the 3rd level, which I believe we were right at, so kind of a shame that we weren't able to benefit from it. And dodge an ult from Sabrina, but Udyr is coming in after us, and I really need to get out of that situation. But I make a stupid because my mouse was not working properly at the moment, and I make it rain in the wrong location as I'm trying to run, and it most certainly does not work. So yeah, that was kind of a dumb on me. Yeah. But anyway, so at this point we do have 3 kills, 2 deaths, and 2 assists, but I am most certainly leading at a good 77 minion kills, but not out of the team. Or everyone, really. Yasuo definitely has a whole bunch. He's the one leading. Udyr coming in 3rd, out of everyone, with a 92 minion kills. And Ilioya got 98 minion last hits, and I'm just at 77, along with Echo at 72, following behind me. I think I am buying some new items, and I get the Kraken Slayer, finally, and I also get the Serrated Dirk for a little bit of lethality and gouging. So, all in all, looking pretty good. And I have only 24 more Reaps in order until I run out of the Reaps, and I get an extra 350 gold after it. Each Reap, of course, if you don't know, gives me 1 extra gold for every minion last hit. I make it rain on both my enemies. I try to use the double up on one of them, but I think I accidentally used it on a minion in front of me, so that didn't necessarily work. I try and back up a little bit to keep things safe. I use my ult, however, and make Sabrina pay for the fact that she just tried to kill me. Or, well, she did. Well, she assisted on it. But that's not important. I got some revenge on the enemy team, and I also get a nice last hit on Dreyfus for killing me. So yeah, take that. And then I just kind of focus a little bit more on farming, and then also finishing off that turret, because you know what? What better way to rub it in the fact that I finished off than destroying a giant towering turret. So that's basically my revenge, very thoroughly done. And then I decide to go up to mid lane to help out Echo a little bit while Morgana is dealing with the Scuttle Crab. I realize it's not a beetle, it's actually a crab. And I thought Yasuo was still there, but he was behind turret, so basically all I achieved there was just stealing some farm from Echo. Sorry about that, bro, but I came up here for a team fight and I was unfortunately denied, so had to make up for some of the farm that I wasn't able to get, and unfortunately you had to pay for it. But anyway, Sabrina is back in the bottom lane, and I finish off the cannon minion. Make it rain to try and get both, and I accidentally walk into being charmed by Sabrina, so that didn't necessarily go well, but she does run off a little bit before coming back, so I got myself a little bit of opportunity. I tried to double up with Dragus to hope that Sabrina gets caught in it, but she wasn't. Then I realized how bad the situation is, and I get Dreyfus, but then Sabrina does kill me, so she avenged herself in me avenging myself. But it does lead to an assist against Sabrina, with Gragas taking the final blow, as you were able to tell. With top lane having a little bit of a dicey situation, the Rift of the Herald coming in to try and deal some deadly damage against the turret. However, the ones guiding the Rift, the Herald of the Rift, end up dying, and Ilio and Morgana end up finishing off the Rift, making the summoning a little bit of a waste. That's kind of why you have to use your Herald of the Rift properly. You don't want to use it too early, because then it's going to get either distracted by minions, or it's going to be distracted by champions. When the Herald of the Rift is meant specifically to deal some heavy damage on the turret you are targeting. So make sure that that is when you summon the Herald of the Rift. You shouldn't use it for champions, don't use it for minions, use it specifically when you have the perfect opportunity to get the turret. That is the main priority of it, so you should be going for that priority. And I am tempted to get Yasuo, and I offer the chance for Ilio to be able to get the final blow on Yasuo, so it works perfectly for us. We do get closer in destroying that tower. I use the double tap on Udyr, and also a Make It Rain on him. Unfortunately, not a pleasant kind of making it rain. Shame for him. But it's also here where we take in a really big opportunity, and we finish off Udyr with Echo getting the kill. Very nice on him. But most of us get charmed by Sabrina and her damn good lyrics and voice. So that definitely did not help us a little bit, and I am definitely in a bit of a dire situation. And Gragas is going to be going back, but I decided to stay in for a little bit since I am technically still healthy, but it's also probably a very good situation to kind of just back off a little bit, is probably what I would do now that I look back at it. Dodging, of course, being very important in making sure I do not get hit by Sabrina's abilities. Any form of dodge against any ability is always a good dodge. You always want to make sure you miss, unlike here, where I do get heavy damage placed on me by Sabrina and her ability, so I use my last refillable potion, and then I just kind of try to assist wherever I can in this situation. Just keeping my distance not only as a ranged ADC, but also just making sure that I do not die. But here is the perfect opportunity to fight off Yasuo, and only barely do I get the final hit against him as he is right in front of me. High noon, Yasuo? More like you just got high nooned yourself in a quick draw. I use my ult to deal some heavy damage against Sabrina and steal a last hit against an enemy. This probably would have been a better situation though, but things are not looking too good for me. I was tempted to go for Udyr, but then I decided against it and only barely escaped Sabrina's ability. So while I probably could have gotten a second kill, I felt it was more important that I just survive than just make that risky move. Even though risky moves can be nice, I just feel like it's best to just take the safe route and just survive and head back to Fountain. So, what we are getting right now is we have finished off the Collector and we have got religious, so we got Zeal, something like that, and we also get the Kirch's Shard, which is for, I believe it is for Mortal Reminder, I think. I'm not entirely too sure. Either that or it's for Bloodthirster. Or maybe it was for something different, I just don't remember. It could have also been for Ruined King, I just really can't remember which one, though. But yes, now that I think about it, it probably was for the item that was meant specifically for attack speed. I just can't remember its name at the moment. I happened to notice that there was a bit of a, I don't remember if I noticed, because why didn't I go after the thing? But we do notice there is a bit of a collection of enemies, and I decide I wanted to go in, but that wasn't the proper time to do it, so that's why I also backed off. Use the Make It Rain on Udyr and a few other enemy champions, and then I go in behind my allies to make sure that I am secure and safe behind some allies. I get hit by the ult, along with most of my allies. Also get in a couple of nice pokes with Udyr. Take down his image, which I didn't take part in, but you did see it was there. I hit Sabrina with a nice late double tap, giving the final blow, and I shut her down like a boss. Then I just focus on farming to make sure the minions can be as little human meat shields as possible so that we can focus completely on the enemy champions or the turret if possible. I use my Making a Rain on a collection of enemy champions. Morgana gets a final hit on Udyr, and I also use my ult right under turret, dealing 2 extra kills, so I get a nice triple kill and finish off all the champions. So a very fine play for me, if I say so myself, which means now it is time to prioritize the minions and also to be able to take down the turret right in front of us before they revive. And Morgana deals a final blow on that turret, and Seraphina is coming back in. She did get hit by Morgana's Q. I used my Make It Rain on her just as a little bit of a derive to chase her away. But she is looking to pursue, even if it is alone. We do get the idea to just go in for Baron Nashor, and I take down the thing, the ward. I don't know how I forgot the name. But I do take down the ward, and I was wondering if we were going to go for the Baron Nashor, but I guess we decide against it because we do have a couple of low health champions, and it's probably for the best that we just kind of leave for now. And here, let's see what item we get next. So, oh, Rapid Firearm, of course, duh. Rapid Firearm definitely helps with the poking, especially with giving me more attack speed and some more movement speed. So yeah, as you can see, the description is very nice, and as you can see from here, I also get some Zeal for attack speed and critical strike chance, and also Executioner's Call, which basically means for here, I am building myself to have a little bit of anti-lifesteal or anti-healing through the Mortal Reminder. So it is definitely very helpful against heroes such as Seraphina or any champions that can provide heals like Lux or whether it be healing or anti-lifesteal. It's definitely very useful to have Mortal Reminder just for any of those situations so that you can make sure that your enemies do not have an advantage in being able to heal. We take some nice pokes at the turret and also Make It Rain to chase away enemy champions. But as you can see here, I am completely focused on the turret until I finally get the chance to use my ult on enemy champions, but it did not necessarily work out well, and I get shut down by Dreyfus. But it does work out positively as the enemy champions are getting pretty badly injured. But Echo is in a bit of a situation, and he does get finished there. Morgana, definitely getting hunted down by Dreyfus. But she does finish him off, so that works out, but doesn't look like things are working well for Morgana as she gets hit by Udyr and dies. We also happen to notice that there is a bit of a scuffle going on at the top lane at our base, but Iliao is able to finish him off, so problem solved by our tough, strong sea woman. So definitely things worked out pretty well for us. And as you can see, I have leveled up my ult to level 2, Make It Rain to level 5, and Double Tap is at level 5 as well, with my Stret just still remaining at level 1. And let's see, now we also have the Mortal Reminder. So, what it does is not only offers these advantages, but Sepsis, dealing physical damage, applies 40% grievous wounds to enemy champions for 3 seconds, and also helps with anti-lifesteal and healing. Deal a lot of damage on Seraphina, who is being distracted by the dragon, along with her enemy team. I try to hunt down Udyr, but it gets a bit, it was a bit dicey, but I was able to finish him off until I was finished off by High Noon Yasuo, so you know what? Yasuo, we do have a few trades on where, whichever one of us becomes the fastest gun in the West, even though technically you're using a sword, not a gun, but whatever. But here Morgana is dealing some heavy damage, but she is now the only survivor of that team fight, but she is doing the damage and the work with that double kill. But she did miss her Q, so this is not necessarily looking like a good situation for her at the moment, and she is finished off by Yaroi, or Yakoi, I don't remember this guy's name. Let me see if it says what the champion's name is at all. Nowhere does it say it. Shame. But anyway, I get back into it, and let's see if I build into anything else. I do have an agility cloak, so I am building up for something. I just don't remember what. Probably could have checked that earlier, but I didn't. Sorry about... Well, I technically did, it's just I can't remember every item. It's a problem, I'm sorry. But we will see it. So unfortunately, the red team is leading in dragons, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are winning. I mean, it does give extra buffs, yes, but just because one has more dragons than the other team does not mean that they are going to necessarily win. So here we are getting prepared in mid lane for another team fight, and I decided to start by finishing off that cannon and the rest of the farm because I could. Why not? I mean, ADC does need to get fed. And up here is a team fight going on with Seraphina getting cornered by the entire team. And Seraphina is taken down by the big drunk Gragas. And there are also some other enemies we are trying to chase down. High Noon Yasuo, I decide to go after his water illusion just to make him weaker, because that's what Iliao's ability can do. And we think about trying to chase that enemy up there, but Iliao pretty much has the whole thing covered and she chases him off. Me, Morgana, and Gragas decide to go for mid lane and just try pressure the tower or the turret, see if we can destroy it, or just, you know, apply some heavy damage. Dreyfus is getting cornered, and he dies to Gragas, and his CC and his final belly bump hit, I think that's what it was. But I couldn't really tell because the turret was in the way, but I will definitely believe that it was a belly bump that killed him. Which, depending on how you think of it, could be embarrassing, could be hot, who knows. But I focus on taking down the inhibitor, and it is destroyed, giving us an advantage. I use my Make It Rain on Seraphina just to harass and annoy her a little bit, and then I decide to get out of the enemy base and just follow the rest of the team, so that we can probably prepare for Baron Nashor, or who knows what else we plan on doing. But I don't think we go for Baron Nashor at the moment, because Iliao is not there. But I do decide to get rid of the plant ward that the enemy team could use, because I just want to get rid of that advantage, really, that the enemy could use. I take care of the Scuttle Crab, and we have that done with so that we can have a little bit of vision on the Baron Nashor, or if anyone is going for the Baron Nashor. Seraphina is up in the top lane, and so is Echo, and Echo takes care of Udyr, and I'm not exactly sure why I stopped, but I am trying to work out on making sure that we help out with the enemy team. I get the final hit on Yakoi, and also a double kill with Seraphina. So, definitely works out, and I decide to make a risky sacrifice on the turret and take it down, and I die to make up for it, and Echo is the one that avenges me by finishing off that turret. I gave my life to take care of that turret. I better have that turret falling down for me. Now, it does offer another death for me, but it is not useful to the enemy because it was in fact an execution. So, while it does have me out of the game for a little bit, nobody really benefits from me monetarily or experience-wise. Yasuo, however, does deal a nice bit of damage against Ilioi, and she is taken down without really a whole lot of help and being a bit overextended. So, definitely something to be careful of. Definitely don't want to overextend yourself because things like that can happen. And our farm is being taken care of in the mid lane, and then I come back. And let's see if I build into anything. So I get rid of my refillable potion and get the more important item, which is the best friend sword. Because you definitely want your best friend sword around because it will always forever be your best friend. Never underestimate the power of the best friend sword and friendship. Because that's exactly how you get through things. Anyway, I decided to go into mid lane, but then I also see some enemies up in the jungle, and I wonder if maybe we should be preparing for Dragon. Seraphina is at the Dragon site, and so are a bunch of her teammates, so I just decided to give a nice little bit of harassment with Make It Rain. Red buff is taken by Gragas, so definitely good. I hide in the bushes to see if anybody is going to be drawn in to a place where I can definitely have a little bit of opportunity of attack. Seraphina is kind of gone, but I do hit the double tap. I dodge her ultimate, but I do get hit by one of her abilities. I try to focus on that creep, but Ilioi is definitely getting is definitely very vulnerable. I use my ult and get a nice double kill here in that grouping of enemies. Echo finishes off High Noon, Yasuo, and Ilioi finishes off another enemy champion, Gragos being the only one who paid in that team fight. But Ilioi takes down Seraphina and earns a nice ace for the team. So we finish off the mid lane and we decide, you know what, may as well go in all the way. We've already got a lane taken down and we have a fine opportunity to go for the turrets. So let's go in for it. Some minions pay with their lives, I get a nice shot on it, but then we wait for the real guns to come in with the super minions and finish off the minion that gets in our way, and take down the turrets with all of this shielding ready for us to just deal the damage on the turrets. The turrets go down, but I also see the enemies trying to resist, so I decide I kind of want to get involved in some more kills, so let's get some more kills, especially since I do have a G-Loot challenge to take care of. So we go in, I get a couple of kills as being unstoppable, but Yasuo proves that I can in fact be stopped by slashing me everywhere, so definitely does not go well. And then the rest of the allies go in, then the rest of the enemies come in, and our allies are taking care of Seraphina, dealing the final blow to the invasion force. But yes, definitely a very fine, and definitely a fine confrontation where I am now able to put myself at 18 kills, 7 deaths, and 13 assists. So definitely doing the carrying work around here. And now I have also gotten myself a Bloodthirster, which definitely helps with a lot of lifesteal. Blood Barrier also steals from attacks that can overheal me, and also provides a shield with the health that I steal when I'm already at full health. So definitely very useful to have. And I do also have another best friend sword to make up for the last best friend sword I used in order to make into the Bloodthirster. So, you know, definitely very fun to have, so always make sure you have a best friend sword. Even if you use guns, just have a best friend sword, because it will always be your bestest of friend in all evers. Another team fight going on over here. I get hit by the ult, but not a whole lot can be gained from it. I, for some reason, decided to focus on that thing, but I pay for it as well as Dreyfus. Or, no, not Dreyfus. Yokoi takes me down. Again, I don't know why I focused on this one. I guess I just wanted to kill something and it had low health. So I decided to go for the extra thing even though it wasn't a champion. The enemy team does get all the dragons, and they have 4 dragons also, which means they can lead up to an Elder Dragon at this point. But they also have the Water Dragon Soul, since they last killed an Ocean Drake. Ilioi misses her ability, but is definitely making Udyr pay for the with a little bit of confrontation. Udyr getting some shields, and Ilioi getting beaten up pretty badly, without a doubt. But Ilioi is definitely making Udyr work for this fight, given a nice, glorious battle. Ilioi then goes after Seraphina, kills her illusion, but that's all I can really see. But I'm pretty sure at the end, Ilioi doesn't necessarily, Ilioi is chasing Seraphina, so definitely putting a lot of pressure on her. Meanwhile, the rest of us are kind of at a bit of a standoff in the mid lane. And as you could see, the minions are absolutely nothing to me, but Ilioi does eventually fall to Dreyfus. So, sad, but it did happen. Anyway, I decided to pursue Dreyfus a little bit. Gragas is getting injured quite a bit due to Seraphina's ult and the pressuring by Dreyfus and Seraphina both. I decided to get rid of the shields and the minions so that we can pursue a little bit further and have our own meat shields come in so that we have a little bit more protection against Seraphina and Dreyfus. I missed my Make It Rain right behind them. Morgana is going to be going back to base, and I decided that I'm going to go back to Fountain as well. And so is Echo, so we're all going to be moving back, but the enemy does come in, and it's a bit risky, but I just barely make it with just an inch of my neck so that I can go help out with top lane, because Yoroi is being a bit of a prick, and I avenge myself by killing him. That's what you get for killing me last time. You're going to end up dying to me eventually. Unless I do terribly in a game. That will be the only time I will not be able to avenge myself. But yes, if I am able to avenge myself, you better be prepared, because I will come for you. But here is where we go and meet up for the Baron Nashor, at least half of us, with me and Morgana. Seraphine is also making her presence known in the area, so Morgana and I decide to pursue her just a little bit. And I miss my Make It Rain on her, but Morgana and I are dedicated to killing Seraphina, and so with a few very hard and painful shots, Seraphina does fall to the power of my guns. And then we all meet up for the Baron Nashor. I use all of my abilities on this guy, and he is definitely taking quite a whipping with Gragas, being able to shield with Morgana's shield as well. But I am also able to tank the Baron's attacks with the overhealing that I have, and so the Baron falls to the power of my guns just as much as Seraphina does. So, but basically proving that none can withstand the power of my amazing Waterloo guns. And yes, I'm using the Waterloo skin in case you didn't notice. But team fight going on, and I am just getting rid of the meat shield so that I can get some more farming, more gold, and more experience, even though I probably don't need it, but oh, whatever. It's definitely the best advantage to have. I decided to focus on Udyr because he definitely has overextended himself, and he is shut down by Morgana, and I use my ult in that gathering of enemies, but they kind of get out just in time. We do take care of the powerful minion of Yoroi, but we pursue him. I decide to take down his illusion just to weaken him further. We get hit by Seraphina's ult, and definitely a lot of damage being done. I make it rain, and then I also hit Udyr off into a melee scuttle, and I survive just barely, only for Seraphina to take me down eventually to end my killing spree, as you just get the news of. But then it finally ends with a victory, with the enemy Nexus being destroyed in the middle of that fight. And that is pretty much all that goes on with a finishing record, if you can see from the shadowing. With a finishing record of 21 kills, 9 deaths, and 14 assists, along with 198 minion last hits. Definitely did a lot of carrying here, in my opinion. And actually, probably not even an opinion. I definitely did carry a lot, but that isn't necessarily to say that my team didn't do well or that they needed the carry. But I am definitely saying that I definitely did a pretty good job. They did a pretty good job too. Although I will say that Gragas, and I am saying this for a reason because Gragas was kind of picking on Echo a little bit for, I don't know, not doing as well. Even though Gragas himself, well, let's just say you did do plenty of assists, but at the same time, when it comes to kills and deaths, you do have a bit of a negative reception there. So sorry about that, bud. And Echo does have a bit of a bounty on his head, so you know, and he does have an even kill-to-death ratio, so I definitely wouldn't criticize Echo that much in your position, if I'm being perfectly honest, but, you know, worked out pretty well, and we did finish with a best friend sword, so you know what, that works even better. And with that, I'm going to end the video, so hope you enjoyed this video. Give that like button a stab if you did. Subscribe if you want more death in your life. Be sure the bell is tolling for thee. Until next time, rest in peace. Bye! Enjoyed today's video? Well, there's plenty more for you to enjoy here. And if you also want to support this small channel, then there is also my Ko-fi, which is available, as well as a Twitter thread that gives you my commissioning info. And if you'd like some traditional art or literature, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Thank you for enjoying the video and for your viewership.